Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Mountaineer Park on Saturday, the signature race for the entire year at Mountaineer. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 3 $500,000 West Virginia Derby. Obviously, the race for 3-year-olds. We're going 1 1/8 miles. Todd Pletcher ships down the 1, Bourbonic from New York. Tried him in the Belmont, tried him in the Kentucky Derby. This is a much better spot from a class standpoint. This horse needs pace, though. He is a true one-run closer.
Yeah, he has no speed at all. He's going to sit back, try to make one run in this race, and see if the race sets up the right way.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. You'll see Bourbonic all the way at the back. That's where he's going to be in the early part of this race. The 6 Channel Fury, I think he probably makes the lead unless Kinetic Sky gets a bit aggressive. Channel Fury is stretching out in distance off a 6-furlong race at Thistledown. He wasn't embarrassed in the Ohio Derby at a big price 2 starts back. They didn't make the lead with him that day. I think this time they just got to send.
Yeah, I think they could make the lead with him this time. Maybe it'll make a difference, Dan. He does have some talent. I don't think it's going to be that easy for him to wire this field going 9.
When Bourbonic earned his career big victory in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial 3 starts back at this distance, the fractions on paper look slow. And it looks like, wow, he overcame those slow fractions rallying from last. When you watch the race, it seemed like a pace collapse that contributed to his win at 72-1.
It was certainly a race that was run that way. It totally fell apart at the end. He got a great ride from Kendrick Carmouche. He just sat back, saved ground, and waited, and then took his chances through the stretch. It all worked out for him, but a nice performance for him nonetheless. He did have some trouble in the Kentucky Derby day. He got shuffled back early in that race. Not that it made that much of a difference. He wasn't winning, but he at least had an excuse in that race. There's nothing wrong with this horse, but he does need a trip.
Saved ground last time out in the Belmont, just sort of stayed on for 5th in a 1-paced fashion against much better horses. The 2 is Kinetic Sky, first time in a stakes race for the son of Run Happy, trained by Brad Cox. Nice victory last time out, going 2 turns. Like the way he put those horses to bed pretty early.
Yeah, he set a perfect trip in that race. He did make a pretty early move, though, to take things over. He was much the best against that field. I thought he ran well in there, too. I still feel like he might have something to prove going 9 furlongs. The only other time they tried it, he bumped into a good horse and Promise Keeper. But I still question how far this horse wants to go.
Bourbon Thunder won his maiden for $35,000 at Gulfstream early this spring for Ian Wilkes. He's come a long way. Let's watch his 2-turn debut on dirt. An allowance race at Saratoga where he was in against some older horses. Bourbon Thunder turns into the stretch. He's got to look at it. He finishes evenly for 3rd. He lost a little bit of ground with a wide trip this day.
He did, and the winner comes up the inside to win it. I suppose that could be something that you could say is a point in Bourbon Thunder's favor. He did run well in here, Dan. I'm having trouble buying the speed figure this race got. It seems like it's way too fast. Dak Daniels did come back to win. Did come back in his next start and did not run very well. Clayton the Lionheart, who finished 2nd there, came back and had a bunch of horses over the barrel in an off the turf race.
Mr. Wireless is the morning line favorite, the number 4 for Brett Calhoun, who's had good success, I believe, with Mr. Money winning the West Virginia Derby a few years ago. This horse didn't break well in the Indiana Derby and then got a great trip after that. He showed his agility to get right up close to a 53-1 overmatched pace setter. He took over at the 5/16. What I liked about that race is another horse sort of loomed outside of him on the far turn. He put that one away, and that horse really tired badly. It was a good effort for Mr. Wireless, whose tactical speed gives him a little bit of an edge over some of these.
I agree with that. I agree with your take on this horse's gameness, and he seems like he has a lot of that. I think that was apparent 2 starts back. Even though he got beat by Warrant down at Lone Star, he was dead game in that race from between horses. His prior 2 wins by a nose. This horse is going to be in the mix in the stretch, and he likes to fight it out.
Brett Cox has the 2 Kinetic Sky. He also has Warrant. Let's watch Warrant beat Mr. Wireless in the Texas Derby over sloppy going on May the 31st. Warrant ran very well in this race, considering he was hung outside for most of the way. Mr. Wireless battles with him. Warrant too good.
Yeah, I did think he ran well in this race. This was actually a pretty strong field for this race. And that, and it also had a pretty solid pace. So Warrant did get a really good trip. I liked that Rosario kept him off the pace and he kept him wide, so he wasn't taking any mud, but he also really finished well in there too. I think this horse might be okay.
Timeform US believes the 6 Channel Fury could be the pace setter. Why not? Stretching out 3 furlongs off the race we're going to show you. An allowance against some older horses at Thistledown last time out, coming on the heels of a 6th place finish in the Ohio Derby. He's run some solid figs. I'm concerned about the distance, and I'm concerned that he's stepping way up in class again.
Yeah, those are the real questions, stepping up against some better horses and stretching out. I mean, obviously, this race, you see him losing at 4-5 and not really being a factor. That's a little disappointing, even though he was cutting back 3 furlongs. I just don't know that stretching all the way back out necessarily helps him in this spot.
And the 7 Americain is 50-1 for good reason. A maiden that has yet to hit the top 3 in his first 4 starts. First time gelding. He's got a nice pedigree.
Yeah, good luck to him if he runs here.
Top pick time for the Grade 3 West Virginia Derby. I'm curious to see if Mr. Wireless, I'd like him at these additional distances. I think he's a bit of a grinder. He's got some heart, and I think he could sit a decent trip. And Warren, too, has a lot of upside potential for a very dangerous trainer. I think Bourbonic's going to take a lot of money. We're getting the jump on him, turning for home.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, I think both the 4 and the 5 could turn out to be pretty good horses, Dan. I mean, I don't think we're going to get rich betting either one of them, but I think they're both pretty nice. I went 5-4.
5-4 for Mike, 4-1-3-5 for me. It's the West Virginia Derby on a nice card at Mountaineer on Saturday. Good luck.